Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Welcome to her Panwo TV and welcome to this. Another conversation with Rin Michaelis. I believe this is our eighth conversation that we've had put together. Agent Rin, as Charles calls her. Charles, if you're watching, Agent Rin is still controlling me. Yeah. Rin. Rin, of course, has her own channel, and there'll be a link in the description box to Rin's channel. If you want to watch this particular video without all my commentary and waffling and fancy titles, it's called Catching Up with Ben. It's on her channel. You can go and watch it now, or you can just listen to my commentary. Not that I have an awful lot to say. This is kind of an unthemed. It's kind of an unthemed discussion, really, between Rin and I. It's between Rin and me. Sorry, no, that's it. Good grammar, guys. Good grammar. Um, So we're basically just catching up, though we do end up talking for over three-quarters of an hour about all kinds of different subjects. So there's always something new to bring up. And I do recommend following Rin's YouTube channel. She always has lots of other interesting videos on there, even the ones without me in. And also do follow her on Twitter, because she's actually much more active on Twitter generally than she's on YouTube. And her her Twitter thread is very, very good. Her Twitter thread, her Twitter feed is actually very, very interesting. She brings up a lot of good subjects. And so, with no further ado, let's hear what she has to say, and let's hear what I have to say as well. Hope you enjoy this conversation between myself and Rin Michaelis.
And we're live. We're live. Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Fran, and with me I have been the Porter. And we're catching up right now. We were going to talk about shoe on head, but shoe on head beat me to the punch, and she pretty much said, I mean, aside from the socialist parts, I'm not a socialist, but she pretty much said many of the things that I was going to say. I was going to
I
say.
read the article that the ranting feminist made, and it's made some good points, I thought.
I really didn't agree with the arrested feminists at all, but Sean had pretty much said pretty much what I was going to say. Well, close enough, aside from the advocating socialist part. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so she covered all the points. Well, not all the points. The last paragraph or the last section to the Ranting Feminist articles were one of the good ones. And,
Mm.
what I think about that is that it's really interesting because I only really hear that term from the left. I don't really see any right wingers say one of the good ones. Like I see like left the people on the left saying the good ones, token and whatnot. Pick me. And what I found interesting about that is, I mean, the way they use it, it's like, minorities are one of the good ones. They're like, oh, it's like, it's kind of a lot like, they kind of use it like, with Blair White's, where Blair White is trying to be one of the good ones. Or they use it for, Candace Owens, like where Candace Owens is trying to be one of the good ones, but they're the ones that are using it. And to me, if you are using it, you're thinking it, because it's like, I don't really hear, Blair White saying, I'm trying to be one of the good ones. I don't hear, Candace Owens saying, I'm trying to be one of the good ones. I don't really hear that term, being used by the rights. I don't see it. At least I don't see it. I've never been called one of the good ones by right wingers. So to me, if you are using it, you are thinking it. And I'll go further. Because of my Twitter icon, and maybe I should show people how my Twitter icon looks like. Hold on. It looks like this.
It's like an elf-like thing. Well, some kind of. It looks like an elf.
Yeah, my Twitter icon looks like this, and people mistake me for being part of the left. And not only that, but the left even mistakes me for being part of the left. The left are like I get mistaken for that, and it's like what the left says. The citizens like, don't you want to be a good ally? Now I'm not, a leftist. My answer is no. But think of the word, the worst use. Don't you want to be one of a good ally? Basically, what you're saying is, don't you want to be one of the good ones?
The good ones. Yeah, I've not heard the phrase "good ones," but it just means does it mean someone who is full of virtue or full of the right political views?
Not in the context, not in the context that the left is using it. Not in the context, because the context, you know, um, it matters. The context, it matters. It's kind of a lot like how trans people talk about their allies. Where their allies are one of the good ones, or one the good cis people, where all of cis people are evil, all cis people are demons, all cis people are terrible. But then it's like, a couple of them or five of them are one of the good ones. It's kind of an insult on the level that it's an implication that, the norm is to be terrible. But a
Yeah,
selected
mm,
few are one of the good ones, and that's the context that they're using it, because context does matter. The context in which the person uses it is matters. Like if somebody says, let's say somebody says all the time, I hate cis people. Cis people are demons. Cis people are garbage. Cis people, should be 6 feet under. Cis people should be, 6 feet under. And but it's about oh, you are one of the good ones, or you're the good ones. It's like, so you think like everybody, every cis person is bad, but you like that one cis person that bends the knee and always does everything they can to keep a trans person happy.
yeah. There are some people who embrace that kind of identity. For example, Kevin Logan. Kevin says on his well, I can't follow him. He puts up too much material, but at one point he's got lots of like trans collaborators on his shows, and they gave him an award for the best cis ally or something like that, which he accepted with enormous humility and pride. Um, but it is a kind of veiled insult. It's rather like the if you date some guy and he says to you, for example, "Oh, Rin, I really like you. You're so much better than most other women."
Yes,
What's he really saying?
yeah, yeah, it's kind of like a veiled insult. It's kind of a
Yeah.
lot
He has a
like,
problem with women. He obviously has a problem relating to women generally,
mm-hmm.
doesn't he? And you're different. You're different though. You stand out. He may be just saying that to like soft soap you, but he's obviously got a bit of a problem with women generally now.
Yeah, but like if a person frequently says, "Oh, I hate cis people. I don't like cis people," and tells people, "Don't you want to be a good cis ally?" They kind of basically
Mm.
want you to be at their beck and call, and then like, oh, like you're one of the good ones. But well, why are you one of the good ones? Are you the good cis ally because you don't criticize trans people at all, and you treat trans people with, I don't know, a sense of fear, like walking on eggshells, afraid
Mm.
to afraid to offend.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's something that doesn't really affect me because if someone says, "Oh, do you want to be one of the good ones?" I know you're a white straight male, but do you want to be one of the good allies of uh, this black person or brown people or trans people or women? And I'll just say no. I'll just say no. Don't want to be an ally. Was it? It's like
Yes,
your advert: be a friend, not an ally.
yeah,
But no, no,
it's like,
your that video you made a little short video. Be a friend, not an ally. Is very good.
yeah, I'm glad you watched it, but it's kind of like, yeah, like, when people say, don't you want to be a good ally, one of the good ones? I'm like, no, no.
Yes.
I'm not
That's
interested in
it.
being, one of the good ones. Like where you
Mm.
clearly have an issue with cisgender people. You spend all your time on Twitter demonizing cis people, treating cis people like we're demons, and like cis people eats babies, and that
Yeah,
we're
it's
going to
something like
go
that. Yeah.
that's we're going to go on a trans, quotes unquote, trinitonic, likely little euphemism there, trinitonic, but it's
Gin
like,
and tonic. Yeah. Funny enough, it was. Oh, by the way, Rin, do you know you still got your Twitter avatar up? Do you know that? Is that deliberate?
did you want me to show my face? I don't know if the app is going to come, the background app is gonna come, or if it's they're
It
gonna
should
give
do. If
me.
once you set it, it should stay. Once you set it. There you
Oh,
are. Yeah,
oh.
that's just easier to talk to you if I can see you. It's easier because I can see facial expressions and things. But and you've got that's I think that's that cathedral in Florence behind you. You're in that famous cathedral. Looks very nice. That was yeah. I suppose it was like it's all to do again with making people feel guilty or feel hatred for themselves or hatred for others. And we've talked about this before. About how there's so many reasons to feel negative about yourself or others, centered around victimhood, oppression, supposed privilege, and things like this. All these
Mm-hmm,
things, and the good ones thing is just a part of that. And I know some people go along with it. Kevin Logan, I mentioned before,
mm-hmm,
he's built an entire personality or identity out of being one of these people because he's the same race as me. He's the same sex. Well, he's bisexual. He says he's bisexual, but I can't help wondering if he made that up just so he can get a little slice of that victimhood cheesecake.
mm-hmm,
I doubt he's actually really bisexual, but he knows that, so I may be wrong. But it's to me it's upsetting to see people do that to feel those feelings for themselves and for others, and then need to go through this strange kind of purgatory in order
mm-hmm,
to try and integrate those experiences, which to me is very negative. And I see them doing it. It could be taking the knee, it could be saying I'm an ally, it could things like this. And I think it's just disguising a very very deep sense of a lack of self-respect, maybe even self-hatred, which is brought on by this. Um, I don't want to use any bad words, but this kind of psychological warfare we've all been subjected to.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, when people say, don't you want to be a good ally? And I'm like, nope, because I'm not interested in being one of the good ones, because you
Yeah.
clearly have an issue. Like, I seen your tweets. I've seen your tweets. You clearly have an issue. And by you, I mean like the universal you that doesn't include you. But it's like, it's like, I've seen your tweets. I know you have an issue with cis people. You keep demonizing cis people all the time. And all you do is complain about cis people 24/7. I'm not interested in being one of the good ones.
It must be very miserable to feel that way. It really must. To be a feminist or to be someone who's trans and has a big chip on their shoulder over it, um, or one of these other victimhood groups, one of these in the victimhood hierarchy, to be somewhere up there and continuously trying to get higher and higher and higher by being more of a victim and feeling this resentment. And of course, for these people, the people you tolerate among you who are from the supposed privileged class, you only tolerate them because of their self-loathing, and that to me is not a healthy relationship, and it's not a healthy way to. I would hate to. I would hate to feel that way. I really, really would.
Mm-hmm,
I would hate to have those emotions because I've seen them in other people, and it's incredibly destructive. They seem such miserable people, and it's sad. I interviewed Claire Ray Randall on my channel. She's a trans woman who is much more. Well, she's quite an old lady actually. She transitioned 35 years ago, and she's learned an awful lot as a result. So she's a lot older than most trans people. And her insights, her into the whole trans situation is very She's very wise, and I recommend people to check out her book, The War on Gender. It's a very, very good book.
Oh, the war on gender was written by a trans person.
Yeah,
Cause I saw a tweet, that's went viral, and it says that the person who written it, well, the person is the author of the War of Gender. I just saw that
yeah.
that long ago.
That's her. Yeah, that Claire has been. She's been had a lot of abuse from people, other trans people because of her views. She's been castigated virulently. This book it's already. I mean, it's quite a new title. It's only was published a couple of months ago, but it's going to receive. It's already received a lot of criticism. It's sure to receive a lot more, because I suppose Claire is like they see her as a traitor as well as being against their ideology. She's a traitor because she's one of them in terms of her demography. She is a trans woman herself. If I wrote that, it would be much easier. They'd find it a lot easier to deal with because I'm cis scum myself. You see, they can
Yeah,
always fall in. Well, what would you know? You're cis. You can always fall back on that old line. What would you know? You don't know because you're cis. They can't do that with her.
and that's the reason
Yeah.
why I like Blair White. And
Mm.
by the way, before we continue, hey, Freaky's in the audience.
Oh, hello, Freaky. How do you do? How you doing?
Anyway, but the reason why, wait a minute, like I do have notes from what ContraPoint has to say because, with the original intent of the live stream, both the ranting feminist and the ContraPoints, it's actually a fairly common talking points
Mm.
on the left. And so it's like, it was going to be a big, like, a live stream because live streams are generally 2 hours long, but I guess you could have like a 30 minutes long live stream or a 1 hour long live stream. But
Mm.
generally speaking, live streams are tend to be 2 hours long
That seems
because
to be the average, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it averages out to be 2 hours, you know. And not only that, but nobody's gonna watch like a 5 hour live stream. Like Vosh, she puts out a 5 hour live stream about Shoehead, and it's like
What?
it's
My God.
five, and
I
it's
mean,
like
I don't watch Vorsh very often. I can't. I don't find him very interesting, to be honest. But he does go on a bit. He repeats himself a lot, and I just think,
yeah, like Vosh, she has like a 5 hour long live stream. It's like who's gonna well never mind. There actually are people who actually really would watch a 5 hour long live stream. It's like,
mm.
don't you have a social life? Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's some. There are people who literally live through things like this, and I don't. I mean, I have watched 5 hour live streams, but not unless it's something I find very interesting. Shoe on Head. I mean, I like Shoe on Head. Her early material, the men's rights stuff, was excellent. She really tackled the men's rights issue very well, I thought. Um, I haven't followed her for years, though. I mean, I don't know what she's like now. She was her criticism of feminism. She had very good criticism of feminism, which was really matched Sargon, I think, in her perception. Yet, so I know she's had a lot of criticism from both the left and the right. But what she's said here is, I mean, this thing about maps and things, and it's an unfortunate fact. We've discussed this when we discussed that horrible Cuties film. That map exists, and I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's normal, and it's not something that should be tolerated. But it's not. It's. I don't believe that it's really focused, or I don't think it happens to be more on homosexual, heterosexual people. It seems to be occurring both heterosexual and homosexual people. There are examples you could find of many, and I've never seen any statistics which suggest that it's more one side or the other.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's horrible. Whoever's doing it and whoever they're doing it to, it's horrible for the child involved. It's the children should be protected from that.
I agree with you.
Hmm. What do you think about how Twitter has changed? Sorry, I don't know if you want to carry on with that subject, but it just suddenly popped in my head that Twitter apparently is now completely different. Um, I personally, I mean, I know that a lot of my hate follows have vanished. Christy Winters and Kevin Logan have jumped ship. Mike Stoochbury's still there, but a lot of my hate follows are gone.
Because like Christy Winters and Kevin Logan moved to Mastodon.
Are they there? I couldn't find them on Mastodon last time I looked, but I will. I might have to set up an account, I probably won't post much because
Oh,
it won't
that's what
last
that
very
you
long.
told me. Like I was just repeating what you told me on Twitter DMs.
Oh
Remember
right,
on
yeah, right.
DMs, in DMs you told me that Christy Winters and Kevin Logan are in Mastodon right now.
No, I didn't know that. I thought they might when you told me about Mastodon, because it sounds like the kind of place they'd want to go. Um, as we explained, it's obviously kind of meant to be the left wing replacement for Twitter. And it was you who told me that at the one of the symbols for the Republican Party is an elephant.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I sort of knew that basically, but then I made the connection because a mastodon is a big, hairy elephant that became extinct thousands of years ago, and possibly the objective of Mastodon is that the Republicans, the GOP, will also become extinct in the same way. I think and then the Democrats will rule the United States forever. I think that's their plan.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'll check. I'll have another look and see if I can find them because I just like to keep an eye. I follow Kevin on Twitch anyway, so he's my favourite hate follow, I think, and I'll miss him if he's not there. If I can't catch up with him.
Mm.
Do you think it's more libertarian now, Twitter, than it was?
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Not libertarian enough, but it is more libertarian. But I still wish I could see more libertarian tweets.
Yeah, I know that Musk has made a massive redundancies, and he's got rid of a lot of people. 150 odd people he's got rid of, and of course there's a lot of criticism for that, saying he's made all these people unemployed. Well, he's given them a year's severance pay, which is very generous. I think that's more than what I got from the NHS. Also, the people he hasn't sacked any coders or engineers. He hasn't sacked anyone like that. He's he's sacked the moderation team. Are you okay, Rin? Are you
It's
okay?
my eyes.
All
My
right, no
eyes
worries.
start burning up.
If you want to stop, just let me know. We go in 20 minutes.
Oh no, it's just my eyes. My eyes are burning.
Oh
I
dear.
suffer from allergies.
Oh dear. I hope you feel better soon. So yeah, he's the people he's got rid of. He's basically he's cut away the dead flesh. That is the time wasters who go around, who have been going around for a long, long time, just getting rid of people's tweets and banning accounts like Trump and like all the people like Sargon and all the people who've now returned because they say the wrong things, because they express opinions that are somewhat to the right of Joseph Stalin and therefore are not allowed. And so, good riddance to them, I say. They'll have to get a proper job now that doesn't involve censorship.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen how it where it goes from here,
Mhm.
because of course all of Silicon Valley is going to be now after Elon Musk. They're going to try and get Elon Musk. He's made some. Hi, Freaky. Freaky says here, I was waiting for ages for my accounts to return to Twitter. Hell, just today, I made a new account and didn't even say anything yet, and they suspected me. I swear I didn't say a thing and gone. Oh, Freaky. Freaky. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. I am. I don't think you're. No one's immune. I mean, there are still things that are taboo. Obviously, there's things breaking the law. I mean, what Kanye West said, some people have interpreted as threatening. I won't repeat what he said, but he said something that some people have implied refers to gin and tonic.
Mm-hmm.
He said he used the word passed away, another word we can't use that begins with D. He used that in reference to a
Yeah,
demographic group.
yeah. Most people know what Kanye West says.
Yeah. Now, some people interpreted that as a threat. He says, no, I didn't. It was a mistake because he's dyslexic. So no one, people are not immune. I mean, whether it's, I don't think it was right to ban him personally. I don't think he should have been banned, but he is,
But
and that could happen.
when it comes to Twitter, you even with Elon Musk being there, you still gotta be careful with what you say. Like my tweets are carefully worded. You know.
Yeah, Freaky never said it. Freaky, it's possible they've. Have you used the same IP address and things like that, or the same email? These things could be on the database. They haven't liberated you yet.
Yeah, because okay, it's like he says, I was waiting for ages for my account to return. Because yes, Fricky was following me, for like I don't know, 2 months, 1 or 2 months. Then his account got permanently suspended. If you use the same email address or perhaps even the same IP address, they probably have they probably have your IP address.
mm,
See, that's it, the same IP address. You see, that's the reason why, for me, my tweets are very carefully worded. And oh, there's an interesting backstory to that. I'll tell you about it. Okay, I've read each and every single last article of everyday feminism before using Twitter.
all right, that's quite an achievement. I read one article and found it was bloody. And it made me cringe so much I couldn't read anymore.
Well, do you remember that I used to make anti SJW content and how I did live streams making fun of everyday feminism because it was just
Yes,
confused for
you
me.
did. Yeah, those were very good.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, you're one of the few people, Rin, who has this kind of ability to ridicule both sides. You're
Mhm.
kind of you have quite a good take on both sides of this debate with the SJW and versus anti SJW thing, which is quite rare because most people are partisan and they lose their sense of humour when it comes to their own position.
Mhm.
So, but I remember it well. Yeah, I do. I remember that well.
Mhm. Yeah, and I've read each and every single last article of the everyday feminism, so I am able to carefully write my tweets in a way that doesn't, get me flagged or banned. Even though, even though I've gotten a 12-hour ban before, like 4 or 5 times. I forgot, but I think it was 4 times I got the uh 5 12 hour ban or 4 or 5.
Yeah, you can still get like suspensions. I got Facebook jailed twice now. I've been Facebook jailed twice. But well, Freaky mentions the Twitter files, and that's interesting because I'm following that because I feel like this is a massive "told you so." Because we were all loads of people saying all a lot for years. For years, we were saying that Twitter was doing this, that they were completely improperly in breach of the user agreement and the contract. They were censoring people, removing people, etc., shadow banning people, and well, it turns out it's true. It was true all along.
Mm-hmm. But of course, the left interprets it differently because, I would follow Christiosity, follow Social Equalizer. And, what I find fascinating is how the left and the right could look at the exact same thing, but come out
Mm.
with different interpretations of the same thing.
Well, Kevin Logan has just done like about 3 streams now on Twitter and on Twitch. And Kevin Logan's streams are almost as long as Vorch's. All of them like 3 hours plus. And he says things like Elon Musk's hypocrisy and things like this. And he does claim that there was an anti left wing bias as well.
Like a 5 hour live stream, and who's gonna watch all that? In all
I know.
honesty, like if you know my I have a short attention span. I have a really short attention span. At most, it's easier to watch a Medicare video. You know,
Mm,
it's a lot easier to watch because Mr. Medicare is, really hilarious, really
mm.
entertaining. Now, if you are doing a live stream and you're cracking jokes, and I wish I was that funny. I wish that I was that funny because if I was that funny, I would probably have like I don't know what probably more because my videos would go viral, and I would probably have like I don't know. Eventually, I probably would have 100,000 followers if I could be as funny as Medicare.
No, that's the thing is he's entertaining, whereas I do find him entertaining, whereas Vorsh he doesn't entertain me at all. He's just this rather bitter, rather obsessive young chap with a silly beard and hairstyle he's sitting there going like that, and
And
muttering into his
watch
microphone, you know.
And Rush just so pompous and
Mm.
annoying. Like he's full of himself. He just spends his time inhaling his own farts.
Yeah, oh, what a revolting thought. But yeah, I think that's right. Freaky asks who uses Facebook. Oh, to be honest, Freaky, I only use it really to keep in touch with people and tell them about what I'm doing. I don't make long posts and things like that. I just I've shared a couple of things that are verboten, and they've been, and I got Facebook jailed for them. So Elon, if you're watching, buy Facebook.
You know what I miss? I miss like playing games with friends on Facebook because Facebook, you could actually like if you are friends with somebody, you could actually play like Scrabble with them with your Facebook friends because it's like I used to spend like hours and hours playing Scrabble with my Facebook
Do
friends.
you still play chess?
No.
Oh right. Oh. But I mean, we did have a game of chess once, I remember, and yeah, there's all kinds of quizzes and things you can do too,
Yeah,
things
I
like that.
just I just miss, the hours and hours I spent playing Scrabble with my Facebook friends where you find a game on Facebook, you get connected with your friend, but my friend he would set everything up and I would just be like going along while he initiated everything and we would play Scrabble for hours and those were some really fun and positive
Hmm.
memories. And it's like I wish somebody would play Scrabble with me.
Well, I'll do that if you want a game at some point. But it's illustrative of how social media. I think a lot of the fun has gone out of social media because I got onto YouTube just a couple of years after it started. I think I did my first upload in 2008 and 2007, I think. And in those days, it was fun. It was like there was no stress involved in it. You could say what you wanted. Obviously, there was rules. There's the law. You can't shout fire in a crowded movies theater. You can't threaten people. You can't things like that. You couldn't post defamatory material about people. But apart from that, you could just say whatever you liked. If someone didn't like it, they could block you, or they could do reply videos, which you can't do anymore. And things like that. And it was just there were some real characters, wonderful characters on there. Yeah. Hello, Fletch. How you doing? And and I miss those days. And Twitter and Facebook were like that in the early days as well. And then sometime a few years ago, they just decided, no, we want to get somebody high up decided they wanted to get this whole. They wanted to get this toothpaste back in the tube. They wanted to get this genie back in the bottle and turn and just ruin it. Which is sad. Although I'm on the alt tech platforms as well, so you can always go to Gab, MeWe, BitChute, etc. But they're not as busy as the mainstream ones. You don't get as much attention.
Yeah, I agree with Freaky. Censorship is ruining social media. It's why, I also use like the alt tech platforms. I'm also on there because it's more libertarian, I think.
Yeah,
It's
it is. Yeah, it's sensitive. It is ruining. It's the moderation. This is why Elon Musk, he's got rid of the moderation team because he feels the same way. So he's just got rid of these time wasters who go around just censoring people for whatever reason. I know that Chris Yossity and Kevin Logan will say, "Well, there's censorship of left and right wing opinions," but and that Musk is a hypocrite. But either way, I mean, I'm against all forms of censorship. I wouldn't censor people who disagreed with me in any way. No, definitely not.
yeah,
Freaky is.
I think that the libertarian websites are more fun,
Yeah.
mainly because with libertarians you have more freedom to say what you want, and not only that, but there's more freedom to have a dialogue. But
Yeah.
with even with Twitter, it's like it's still a bit, like could I really have a full dialogue with you, or
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
and when it comes to the left wing websites, I think Twitter is just a little bit more to the center now. Instead
Yeah.
of down, what I would like to do is I would prefer if it's below the horizon, like more libertarian, instead of, to I just still think it's still, at the authoritarian axis, like the political compass. I still think it's at the authoritarian axis, and I'm not saying it has to be full blown ANCAP, just a bit more libertarian, where you could feel like you could have a real conversation with somebody, where you could
Mm.
feel comfortable saying how you really feel without having to worry about getting your accounts removed.
Yeah, that's it. I know what you mean. There's some good. You see, when all the people, when all the edgy sort of like excrement lords were allowed on Twitch and Twitter, it was really fun. I mean, hopefully it'll go back to that now. Because like there was this great, you get these debates with Mike Stoochbury, to give him his credit, he was quite good at this. He would get into debates with like the right wingers, and he'd have, there'd be like Twitter threads where they'd be like, you'd know they were there because it would have one, two, three, it'd have the number one, two, three on every single tweet, indicating it was a long post split into tweets, and it was usually end with an insult to Paul Joseph Watson, because if he was having a debate with Paul Joseph Watson a lot, and that to me that was quality social media. I mean, both of them were very very witty and very scathing with each other, and that's to have that taken away just by banning one of them. Has ruined the platform terribly, and now I'm hoping that will see a rebirth of that kind of conflict.
Fergie says, tell you why they censor people. They don't want anything like Trump and it to happen again. Laugh out loud. Ever since that's happened, they have been doubling down on their opposition.
Yeah, that's it's. There's no doubt that there's the rise of the populist right seems to be certainly it correlates very much with an increase in social media censorship. Not least because Trump actually used social media very 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 skillfully during his campaign. He now has his own platform, Truth Social. He's now running for president again, and how well he'll do, I don't know. I mean, he will. The forces that tried to stop him last time they're going to redouble their efforts this time. So you might see. I wouldn't say too much on YouTube, but you might see something unusual happening during the primaries. Say that much.
Oh, at least I'm glad that we're not in Canada. Have you heard of Bill C-11?
Yeah, it's horrific, and I talk about this on my show Third Rail Radio, which I do with a Canadian guy called Trevor. Um, it's literally the what we've just had in this country, the online harms bill, which has just been defeated by Parliament. It's being imposed by the Trudeau's Trudeau's executive by force on the
Mhm.
Canadian people. They can literally put you in jail now for almost anything. For if you, I mean, it's all, let's say, if you're speaking to a person and you misgender them and you do it in a way which they think is deliberate, that's criminal.
Yeah, even if you accidentally misgender, a trans person, they still think that you are transphobic.
Mm. It's really horrific. I mean, um, Justin Trudeau is just he's unbelievable. I mean, the violence in his words. Do this or there will be consequences. You know what I'm talking about? The
Hmm.
having the medical treatment which we were all offered. He says, "Do this or there'll be consequences." I mean, what does he mean? Is he gonna hang people? Is he gonna put them in the gulag? What does he mean? It's scary when people in his position talk like that.
Hmm. But yeah, I had no idea that you knew about Bill C-11.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't know all the details of it, but I talked about it with Trevor a little while ago on our show. And Trevor's libertarian voluntarist.
Mm.
And it's freaky says the Brexit. Yeah. Funny enough, Brexit happened the same year, didn't it? 2016, that amazing year. We had Brexit and Trump in the same year.
I hear zombies voted for Joe Biden. Love, love, get it?
But they like to vote for their own kind, don't they?
And zombie says, I know for a fact I'm being shadow banned.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're trying to rejoin and can't, it's quite likely. And I'm shadow banned on YouTube. I know that because I know I am on Facebook. They've actually told me I've been deselected for 28 days, but on Facebook, on YouTube, in spring of 2018, my viewing figures dropped by about 2/3, almost overnight, and they've never recovered. Which must mean that I've been given a low priority notice, so that
Mm.
people find it hard. And I've tried like using a blank browser with no cookies, and I've tried to find my own material, and it's it's not impossible, but it's more difficult to find my own material.
Yeah. You gotta carefully word everything you say on social
Mm.
media.
For example, I tried to search for it's the whole search algorithms. I mean, Facebook's not so bad, but YouTube's terrible. I mean, I put in the name of a guy, it was Michael Schratt, just some guy I subbed to, and I hadn't watched him for a while. And what came up was like the first things that came up on the entire first page was some news. It's nothing to do with him. Certainly nothing from his channel. It was some news reports, and not even about him, about someone else who he'd spoken to. This guy called John Lear. And I said, I'm not looking. I don't want to watch CNN or BBC on John Lear. I want to find Michael Schratt's videos. And I couldn't. I had to scroll down about 3 pages to even find anything by him. But I specifically put his name into the search box. So YouTube are really messing. They're really gaslighting us. They're messing with our heads when it comes to use. They really are. They're trying to screw their users up badly.
Hmm. Yeah, they benefit major corporations.
Yeah, that's it. But the New Year's coming, so who knows what? I always like New Year's because you can think, well, it's a kind of start again moment. I don't know what's going to happen next year. What do you reckon, Rin?
I'll be at work in New Year's.
All right, so will I. But I don't know what's going to happen in the world of politics and social media.
Well, I
I
have
don't.
a theory, not for New Year's, but I mean, okay, remember how all of this nonsense started in 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, something else occurred in 2015. You know what that is?
Um. Not sure what.
Gen Z turned 18. Well, at least the oldest of Gen Z, because Gen Z is like, it's going to be like a generation, but the oldest of Gen Z turned 18. And you know
Ah,
how the upper echelons, they love to divide and conquer. They really,
yeah.
really love to divide and conquer. And the moment that they turn 18, it's the moment that, 2015 is the moment that they turned 18. And it
Mm.
is my belief that, when when Generation Alpha comes after Gen Z. With
Right.
Generation Alpha, I believe that when they turn 18 years old, or at least the oldest people turn 18, you're going to see another big cultural shift.
Right. So Generation Alpha, therefore, will be people who are now in sort of childhood right now,
Yeah,
and they're sort of yeah.
they're 11 years old right now. And
Nice.
I believe that's when they turn 18, 7 years from now, you're going to see another big, great cultural shift.
That's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, that's going to be an interesting. We'll see. Yeah, it could be. It could be it. It could literally be that a certain generation turns a certain age, and then um, because the boomers sort of turned, the baby boomers kind of turned 18, or they reached adulthood sort of around the early 1960s. And there was a massive cultural shift around that time. There was the Kennedy assassination. There was the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Beatles appeared, and there was this kind of musical revolution, this massive cultural revolution. And then a few years later, it all ended in, well, there was like a space exploration, the moon, the moon missions and things like that. But it all ended badly. That whole period with the Vietnam War and things like that. And in our country, in Britain, there were strikes, massive. There was just not quite a general strike, but there was a huge amount of industrial action, and even undertakers were going on strike, and dead bodies were piling up in the side of graveyards and things like that because no one would bury them. And yeah, it could be that this is like a cycle, like a kind of a Spenglerian, as Oswald Spengler and his view on cycles of history. It could be where it's a sort of variation on what you've just said. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to find out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 7 years from now, when Generation Alpha turns 18, I believe that we're going to see, it's going to be like, like how people can say, the 2015 changed everything. 2015, 7 years from now, there's going to be another big change where it seems that the world has gone. Well, it's already upside down, so maybe it's going to be right side up this time.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, it'd be good. My daughter will be, my daughter will be in her mid 30s. I won't tell you what I'll be, but I'll be hopefully older and wiser. So we'll do another live stream then, eh, Ren? See what happens if we're
Mhm.
both still YouTubing.
Yeah, if we're both still YouTubing.
Mm. Oh man, I can't think of anything else to bring up. I don't know if you want to carry on or because you
I
said you want.
don't have, I don't can think of anything else. For he said something. No, we need to start telling history to educate people. Oh, but the problem is that they frequently change history, and they frequently write history. They can't even
Mm.
get the present right. They can't even get modern things right. Like I still remember, atheism versus atheism plus. Does
Oh,
any
nostalgia.
does anybody know what atheism plus was about?
I feel so nostalgic when you said that because it's like it's suddenly I remember those old. You got PZ Myers and you had all like the feminists and atheism plus, and then
Hmm.
they had their Sargon. That's when Sargon came to the fore because that's when you had Gamergate, And
Mm-hmm.
Micah Media. Now, Micah Media has just made a comeback. I don't know if you've been following him. He's just made a series of new videos, and it's great to see him return because he's such a witty chap. But he was like his old catalog is still there from like 6, 7, 8 years ago when all this stuff about Atheism Plus and came about. And do you remember when Richard Dawkins got cancelled? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
He was well, Rebecca Watson. I mean, to her credit, she's never mentioned the name of the man in the lift. I don't know if you're
Mm-hmm.
familiar with Elevator Gate, but
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca Watson was at a conference in Ireland, an atheism skeptic conference, and this guy got into a lift with her at 4 in the morning when they were drunk, and sort of like basically propositioned her in the lift. And Richard Dawkins went nuts over this, and I think Rebecca's never said anything, which is probably to her credit. But there's a rumor that the guy in the lift was Richard Dawkins himself,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty. That's a bit creepy. A married man in his 70s propositioning a woman half his age in a lift at 4:30 a.m. And I mean, anyone else, I think any sensible person would simply apologise if they did something like that. I'd just say, I'm very sorry, I was drunk and I was stupid. I'm sorry. Dawkins, though, he's so up his own ass that he just couldn't. He's such a effing narcissist. He really is. He went on a massive rant on, you know, attacking Rebecca Watson as she like fought back, and
Mm-hmm.
before you knew it, they both were at loggerheads with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Hell has no fury like a Richard Dawkins scorned.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he's scorned at 4:30 in the morning in a bloody lift,
Mm-hmm.
a drunk old git in the lift. What does he
Also,
expect? What the hell does he expect? Does he think he's God or something?
is there proof that Richard Dawkins was the guy who did it?
No, Rebecca's never mentioned the name, but Dawkins was there at the time. He was there talking to them beforehand. It was Dawkins. Dawkins was the one who reacted so badly against it, and no one else knows who else it could be. But he wrote a book called The God Delusion. Oh, there's no God. God doesn't exist. He doesn't exist. Then really, oh no, I'm God. Oh, it's me. You've got to worship me. You can't turn me. If I proposition you, can't turn me down. I'm a sex god. I'm irresistible. And he's so up his own fucking ass. Pardon me. He is so up his own ass. He's just really the guy. The guy believes he's God according to him. I think he really is. I can't stand him. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when it comes to atheism plus, for those that don't know about it, it's atheism plus social justice. That's how this whole thing started. And if you don't know, it's like that's the reason why the whole atheism versus Christianity, culture war is, very important because atheism plus, it was atheism plus social justice. That's how this whole entire thing got started in the first
Yeah.
place.
Well, as Micah Media used to call them, I can't do his voice, but he used to call them the future-haired anti-sex league. He called them. He's got so many brilliant videos, and they're still up there if you want to see them. They're still on his channel. These 7, 8-year-old videos, they're fantastic. And he compared them to like 1984, the book, and um, and he used to like have Rebecca Watson as acting as Big Brother and things like this. It's they're so good. Yeah.
Anyway, I've run out of things to talk about. Do you
Yeah,
have
we've gone into the nostalgic past. That was good fun. That was. I
all
enjoyed
right?
that.
Mm. Freaky, did you wanted to say anything? I'm not sure. Maybe Freaky left. Anyway, thank you everybody for
Thank
watching.
you.
I hope you have a nice day.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye bye. And that was myself and Rin Michaelis. Now, I know a lot of you will wonder, why do you do this? Why do you do these sort of videos, Ben? Why do you do them? And because this SJW versus anti-SJW stuff. And of course, I have done, because I do a lot of them. I know. I mean, the ones I do with Rin are just a part of this particular segment of what I do. I've done many others. In fact, if you go to the main Panmo blog, I've got a political correctness portal. On the Panmo TV section, you'll see many references and many videos I've done about these particular subjects. The reason is because the reason I do these videos, as much to the point, the reason why I collaborate with Rin on them as well, because Rin, I think, has a similar concern to myself, as you've heard, which is we're in a situation where people are being encouraged to feel demographic hatred, either of others or themselves, and that's a very toxic, very pathological situation, and we do run the risk of people who feel this demographic hatred getting into power, into political power. And I believe there's a reason why which I've talked about in some other videos, my BBC one for example, why they're playing this psychological warfare attack on us. But should these people get into political power, then any society, in fact, in which people who feel demographic hatred gain political power enters a very dark place indeed. I could give you an example from history, but you've just thought of one, haven't you? Guess what? You just thought of another. Yeah, it ends in a very nasty way indeed. When this process we're talking about here, it starts with the demonisation of certain segments of the population and ends with gas chambers, mass graves, things like that. So I think now we have an opportunity to nip this in the bud before we go to the end stage, which is when we dig up the mass graves and things, and people run around clutching their heads, saying, "How do we descend into this madness? How did we do this? How did we ever get to this position where we allowed ourselves to do these kinds of things?" The answer is, unfortunately, because most people don't think in advance about these sorts of things, and most people are quite easy to manipulate by the government. What I'm doing with this video, what Rin does with her videos, is we're trying to get in there and cut away that manipulation before it gets too bad. That is why I do these kinds of videos. This is why I cover this particular subject. And I will be doing more videos like this with Rin and also by myself. So I do hope you enjoyed that particular little dialogue I did. It was really good, and I do always post the videos live when I go live with Rin, so you can always post in the live chat if you follow me on social media when we do go live. But thank you very much, all of you, for watching this video. The original on Rin's channel actually was live. It was a live stream. This, of course, is a recording. But thank you, all of you, for watching it. There'll be another one very soon. If I don't see you before then, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But I'll be making at least one other video, probably more, before then. Thank you for watching Her Panmo TV. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order.